Alistair Begg was telling a grandmother that she could attend and should, in fact, attend and buy a gift for her grandson's transgender wedding. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I've had my phone lit up last week, might have been 2 weeks ago, I don't remember precisely, about this issue. And let me first of all say, anytime I hear anyone send me something or they say, hey, did you hear about brother or sister doing this or that, my first reaction is always, I'm going to believe the best. And so I'm not necessarily going to believe that the person did what was said, right?
Right.
So I always assume the best because that's what I think Scripture tells us to do.
Yeah, the benefit of the doubt.
Especially if you have somebody that's got a track record. Okay, here's a guy that, his claim to fame is the accent, let's face it.
The accent, yes. It is a good accent.
Yeah, you can make the argument that you take the accent out, and he's like, a lot of other pastors in the United States, but he's got the accent, so when he says something, it just sounds better than us.
It definitely, the accent makes it sound better.
It just is what it is, Now, all right, here's a guy that has 40-some years, at the same church, I think. Or maybe not 40, 30-some. I think it was 86, something like that. I don't know, 85 in Cleveland. He started pastoring there, and he's had a good track record to my knowledge. So I appreciate this brother. And yes, what happened was, in context, is a grandmother asked him, hey, should I attend my grandson's transgender wedding?
Right.
Now, I don't know exactly precisely. I don't think I want to know precisely what the whole transgender thing was with the wedding. There are only a couple options it could be. None of them are good. But the point is
there's
that,
only a couple.
But the point is that, she asked this question. He then says, okay, do they clearly know your stance?
Right.
Right. And if they clearly know your stance, then yes, you can attend. And in fact, you should buy a gift. And, this will be, in effect, they like to criticize Christians anyway. So, they will see this loving gesture and it will be, a good witness, so forth, right? All right, now, and let's keep clear, too, that everything I've ever heard from Alistair Begg, and in fact, through this incident, he made clear that, homosexuality is sin. Marriage is between one woman and one man. Okay, so he upholds all of that.
Right.
Now, all right, obviously he's wrong to say that a believer can attend such a wedding. All right? Now, I'm not going to go into every possible thing. I hope and pray he recants. I know Sunday night he mentioned something and actually preached this kind of message in light of it, and it wasn't really promising in terms of, him recanting. But I trust that the Spirit will work on him, and maybe he just comes out and says, you know what, I was trying to really sound compassionate, and I didn't give a good answer. I didn't give a biblical answer. I was trying to be compassionate, but if I really loved them, I would just state the truth. I had a bad moment. It was wrong. And, I'm confessing that it's wrong.
Yeah.
And, move forward. But as Christians, and a few people have asked me, hey, maybe you should kind of preach on this issue because most people in our circles know that it's wrong, that you can't attend such a wedding, but we might not know how to articulate from Scripture that it's wrong, and maybe we will preach on that sometime soon. But remember that, look, this isn't the same as, like, let's say you have a homosexual or transgender person in your family. Let's say they're graduating from college or something.
Right.
Or they just got their medical degree or whatever.
Right.
And somebody and the family, they're throwing a party for them. Okay, you can go to a party like that and say, hey, this graduation, with whatever degree from wherever, right? We can, we can celebrate that, that's completely different than going to where a marriage covenant is supposed to be made, and God makes it clear this covenant is only between a man and a woman.
Right.
That's completely different.
Right. Yeah, these are two different things. It's
a totally different situation. Right. So we have to recognize that. And you say, well, we want them to love you. Look, we need to face the fact that we have brothers and sisters throughout church history, and even right now today in other nations, losing their lives for much less than this. As soon as they call upon the name of Christ, they excommunicate them from family. So the idea that, like, look, to be a Christian, we're going to have to take stands on certain things in our lives.
Right.
And that means some people are going to be upset with us. There might even be people in our own family. This isn't new. For 2,000 years, brothers and sisters have been taking stands and have even been martyred for the cause of Christ.
Right.
So you know what? It's pretty weak if we can't say to a friend, family member, whatever, hey, look, I love you and I'm praying for you, but, I can't attend this because here's what Scripture says, and I know ultimately this isn't best for you.
Right.
And, I love Jesus. And let me tell you, he loves you too, and share the gospel with them.
Right.
So that's all I'm going to say about that. Again, as far as Alistair, I'm not going to drag him through the mud. He's simply wrong about this, and I pray that after reflection, he'll just simply come out and say, you know what, I sinned here. I was wrong.
Yeah. That's right. I mean, we could hope. So, all right, Hammerheads. Well, that brings us to a close. We will see you in 168 hours.